Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
It's about something much bigger. Whether the people of the Great Lake can trust decisions affecting their homes, their environment, their future, being made openly, honestly, and meaningful public transportation, or public involvement, sorry. Transparency is not a courtesy, it is your responsibility. People should never have to file for us. Understand what is happening in their own community. They should never discover major projects only after critical decisions have been made and if it's in motion. Public notice should be meaningful, not simply the minimum required by law. Every one of you took an oath to serve the people of this village. That means welcoming questions, encouraging participation, and earning trust, not expecting residents to simply give it. People can forgive disagreements, they can forgive difficult decisions, but they don't forgive is feeling their voices never matter. In the end, your legacy will not be measured by the number of projects you approve. By whether the people you elected to serve to trust in you at all.
You're good. Calm down. You're good now.
Right now, that trust is fractured, and I give you one question: what are you going to earn? What are you going to do to earn that trust back?
Well, happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to talk about pretty much everything to do with the ethos cleansing, we'll call it ethnic cleansing, and genocide of the American people. Fauci is currently testifying in front of Congress. He said that 1 to 3% of people were going to die from COVID. In his notes and his private journals, he said it was 0.1%. And those numbers weren't big enough. So what they had to do is they had to go in and put everyone on ventilators and say that it's good to put people on ventilators, even though 98% of the people they put on ventilators were basically being sentenced to death with a trust us, bro. More trust us, bro. Trust us, bro, on the medical side. Trust us, bro, when it comes to the election system. Trust us, bro, when it comes to our leadership at every level. Trust us, bro, when we put flock cameras on every corner. Trust us, bro, when we take 56 cents on every dollar. Trust us, bro, when we're $39 trillion in debt. We want to take a vacation, give ourselves raises. Trust us, bro, when the judiciary lets 3 murderers out of 5 to 7 years for raping and murdering and stabbing a young woman to death. That happened just a few days ago. Trust us, bro, when the judiciary decides that it's going to be the henchman. Just a trust us, bro country now, right? While they kill and make enemies of our entire community. The only reason that you have a left and a right and they're pushing so hard on Democrat versus Republican and standing up these retards is because they want a war. They want a war where we will wipe each other out. They want a war where they bring illegals across the border and they become our enemy. You know, criminals become my enemy. I don't care if they're American or not. I don't think that illegals should be in this country. I think they should all be sent home unless they've proven themselves and been here for a long time. And frankly, if you moved here and you were a child at 8 years old and the only life you've ever known is in America, I think those have to be given serious consideration and given citizenship. You say, no, send them all back. Send them back to what? This is all they've ever known. It's all they've ever known. We want to do this thing where we center in on zero-sum games for the people in our community. It's just not, it's not sensible. I think that we have gotten to the place now where the people that feel entitled, we're just tired of them. Just get them out of here. And what I'm talking about specifically is that there's the Haitian visa has run out. Now it's time for you to go back to your country and make it a better place. So Ohio Governor Mike DeWine was on with Jake Tapper, and he was talking about the fact that he didn't want to remove them, despite the fact that crime is up an immense amount. And frankly, I don't want any poisonous jelly beans in my community if they didn't belong there or had a right to be there to begin with. But here's what he said. He said that they're taking Americans' jobs. Maybe saying the quiet part out loud. Play it.
Late June, you wrote that more than 10,000 Haitians who've been living in Ohio may be subject to immediate deportation. What has happened with that community since?
Well, most of them have continued to work. I think some of them, have left. We don't really know how many, but there's certainly a lot of them there that are still working. Of course, as you know, what happens when TPS actually goes into effect, which looks like it'll be tomorrow. They can't work anymore, and they won't have any way to make a living. It'll be illegal for companies to employ them. So it's going to be a big blow to the community. These are people who came here to work. They came here to fill jobs that were not being filled. The city of Springfield has come back strongly over the last few years, an old industrial city that now is really coming back and moving forward. One of the reasons they've been able to do that is because of the Haitians who have filled these jobs. They not only have filled jobs, they've started open restaurants, they've bought homes and rehabbed houses. They've done a lot of things that frankly have contributed to the community.
Americans must be just terrible people, according to this governor. We don't want jobs. He's basically saying that Americans don't want jobs, and that's actually not true. None of that is true. It doesn't matter what's true or not true. He came here to take American jobs that Americans didn't want, that Americans couldn't fill. Just to give you an idea, I put out one job application for one job. Within 1 hour, I had over 250 applicants for one job. But everything's fine, Joe. Don't worry about it. Everything's great. And as we prioritize giving Haitians jobs and we walk over Americans, because that's what this is all about. They want to genocide and ethnic cleanse America. They want to cleanse us of our roots of patriotism, cleanse us of our roots of understanding where we came from, cleanse us of our roots and say that we're some bad people that have come to this country and we're on stolen land. We're not on stolen land. We're on conquered land. We conquered this land. And if you don't like it, tough shit. That's every land in the world has been conquered at some point or another in history. And beyond that, they want to say that there's some sort of reparations or we got to give to people that don't deserve anything, that frankly haven't earned anything and don't work. They want free stuff from us, the taxpayers. They want to make slaves of us, Americans. And it doesn't matter if you're independent or Republican or Democrat. They want what you have. They want to take from you your life's work, your life's ambition. And they put a judiciary in place and people in positions of trust and authority through stolen election systems in order to do it. And it doesn't matter what justice is. It doesn't matter. It hardly matters. They create the narratives and they expect us to follow them because you are nothing more than a slave. And if you think that's not bad, a Democrat-sponsored bill advanced in Massachusetts would create a Muslim commission and prioritize Muslims for jobs in state government. They're less than 1% of our population. 1% of our population, and we're prioritizing making sure that 1% gets more than the 75, 80% of Americans that are American. Not prioritized based on who they are and the fact that they are qualified for the job, but prioritized over religion in order to crush and to create rebellion. And I'm going to tell you something. What they're doing is designed to create hate. It's designed that way. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the high school fights where you go over there and you whisper in someone's ear that Johnny over there, he was just talking about you. And you go over to Johnny like, Johnny, yeah, Mikey was talking about you. So Johnny and Mikey get in a big fight in the middle of the thing and everybody sits around and watches, ha ha, look what we did. And the retards in the room, by the way, are us, or the retards that let them actually push us in a room so we can basically kill each other. We know who the targets are. They're Democrats or Republicans or selected leadership that think that they know best for our community, that they can stomp on our foreheads and tell us what to do and take our money and treat us like slaves. And not only treat us like slaves, but make it so you don't own anything. You have this thing called property tax. If you don't pay it, they'll just come take your home from you until you get out and then sell it to their buddy down the street for exactly the tax bill. You have $1 million home. It won't matter if you owe them $20,000. They come in, they take it, and they give it to someone else for $20,000, creating $1 million windfall. That's the American way, right? That's justice. That's what we should be talking about. This is justice. The American people are getting tired of becoming people's pimps, slaves, sharecroppers. We're the ones that sit on the sideline and get abused by people who are dumber than rocks, and were put there by other people that want dumber than rock people to do all their biddings. These aren't intelligent people. They're not talented. These aren't talented people. There's nothing talented about the people that are in government. They walk around with this smirky little thing on their face that you just want to wipe off them, acting as if they're the moral authority. These people are low IQ. Oh, they went to Harvard. I don't care if they went to, the King's School. They're retarded. They've never built anything in their life, ever. And the one thing I can say about someone like Elon Musk is that guy is uber smart. Like, oh, no, he's not smart. And they say that about him. He's not smart. Guy's worth $1 trillion, but he's not smart. And he's able to just stay quiet until finally he couldn't stay quiet anymore. And he at least gave us back a platform that is semi-non-censorable. But as I take that moment, because we have a guest coming in and I talk about other things, now's your time to break it. So you can go over and you can literally hit the share button and get past all these algorithms and the stopping of people looking and seeing the content. Or you can actually text freedom to 89517, and I'll send you something every time we go live. Okay. I want to talk about this. We're going to have Rich that's going to come on and join us. And Rich has been attacked by the state of Colorado for being a whistleblower. And they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter how many lawsuits they have. They don't care. They figure that a certain number of them they'll lose, a certain number of them they'll win. They own the media, so they'll just try to use suppression and censorship, which people like me are going to get. Unfortunately, in Colorado, I have a rather large following across the multiple platforms. And so it's caused them to be a little bit more pissed off at Rich and put their finger down on him. But I want to talk about stuff that does not get, people haven't been arrested. I mean, it shouldn't even be a matter of whether or not Fauci should be arrested. He should be tried for treason and he should be hung by the nearest bridge. Okay? He should be put on display for everyone. That's what should happen to Fauci. The guy is diabolical. He is the equivalent of a mass murderer, and he doesn't care. And he gets to walk away and invest in big pharma companies before they actually push out an mRNA deal and make $3-4 million at a time. That's what Fauci was able to do. Fauci's private diary reveals an estimated COVID-19 case fatality rate at 0.0 or 0.2 to 0.3% in February of 2020. Weeks later, he told Congress under oath that the virus had a higher mortality rate. And here's a post from Big Weld about the COVID fraud. Completely interesting. Because every time we talk or turn around, we're giving people the benefit of the doubt. On both sides of the aisle, by the way. COVID was only for stealing the 2020 election. The jab was to sterilize and kill off humanity. Wasn't a failure, was intent. Failure is allowing MSM to manipulate us. We're fighting each other, guys. Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're fighting each other. And it's not verse that. And people that say that they're on our side, like Joe Vaughn and others. And by the way, I have a treasure trove on someone that walks around talking about burn the machines down. I have a treasure trove of information. And after finding out that these people do nothing but lie about me, I'm going to release it. I just got to wait for the right time. Oh man, I want to push it out right now. But I was told not to, so I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let some other things play their hands. The election system is hijacked. The people think that we're actually fighting for a Democrat versus Republican versus independent. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. Both parties have left us behind. Both parties have lied, cheated, stolen. You think Lauren Boebert knows jack shit about economics? I promise you she doesn't. On the other side, you think Hickenlooper does? You think Phil Weiser, the guy that's embroiled in one of the largest corruption scams, bribery cases in the history of Colorado, the center of it for giving out bribes and entitlements, quid pro quo? You think that guy knows anything about economics? You think that guy knows anything about how to run anything? He was a teacher. I need you to understand that getting on this show is not. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to sit around and talk to you guys and jaw jack. Other times, though, I get on here and I think to myself, man, I keep having this conversation with. Here's the things that we got to do. Here are the things that we have to do. Here are the things we have to do. And I'm met with, there's nothing we can do. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot we can do. There's a ton we can do. I want to put this up. The most important function in the United States in the voting systems are to secure, put this up. The most important function in the United States and the voting systems are as secure as our borders were during the Biden illegitimate term. It's past laughable. We're still talking about this. The voting machine companies et al. Are designed to steal the voice of the people. It's all planned. And I put up DNI Pulte's post. But before I bring in Rich to talk about some of the things happening in Colorado, he is running for office. DNI Pulte came in after Tulsi Gabbard, and I had a little birdie tell me that he's pushing out a narrative that does not include the machine company. He's just as complicit at this point as anyone on the radical left. And David Clements put out a post that I thought was interesting. Well, it's not interesting. It's very true, actually. And the post that he put out was something he put out on July 17th. He says, we're posting this again as Pulte continues to declassify election threats. The biggest error in the spooks declass is the notion that the tabulators, unless physically breached, cannot be used to cause widespread election fraud. This is demonstrably false, and it provides a convenient pretext for Liberty Vote Dominion to hang out till the day Trump moves on. Spooks will do anything to keep the black box voting machines, rigged tabulators, and the emergence of AI will be the death nail until we get our old school paper counted by human hands. And the one he put out there on the 17th was corrupt third-party vendors, Dominion, Liberty Vote, ESNS, Hart, InterCivic, provide ballot definition files to election clerks. Those files are not scrutinized or meaningfully tested by corrupt testing agencies, which provide rubber stamps. Clerks load these two files into tabulators and networks, load those files into the tabulators and network systems, with communists providing software subversions built in. Election devices are turned into selection devices. You don't even need the internet. Notice how no one talks about the single point of intrusion. This is the froth. This is the front end subversion. The back end subversion to override data in microseconds is even worse. We don't have elections, people. We don't have elections. We didn't get to this place because of elections. We got to this place because we have no elections. We have no free and fair elections. So let me just tell you a little bit about Rich. Rich Guggenheim is a free speech advocate. He's a super good guy. He's an openly gay conservative. And let me just say this. You all have your crosses to bear. There's a lot of people out there that have gained my trust. There's a lot of people out there that have not gained my trust. Rich has gained my trust. He stood in the gap. He did what is necessary in order to protect people, and it cost him greatly. And just to give you a little bit of about Rich, he has a professional. He's a peer-reviewed scientist with a PhD in molecular pathology. an MD, and a degree from BYU, Idaho. Oh, I didn't know he went to BYU, Idaho. We got to talk about that one. That's a whole new question to have. That's even, I didn't even know that. His career spans agricultural, plant health management, and horticultural extension work. He is a whistleblower, and he stood up and filed something with the Department of Justice over federal funded usage by the Colorado legislature in federal court. And I just need you to know something. I actually had a conversation with someone who was in accounting for for the state of Colorado, who said he constantly has to tell the legislature and the C-suite of the state of Colorado that what they're doing is illegal. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. So with that said, Rich, welcome to the show again.
Thanks, Joe.
It's good to have you, brother.
To be here.
So you've been busy, and there's an article that was just written about your case. Now, tell us what's happening right now. You filed a lawsuit
With the whistleblower case, yes. That's one. I've got quite a few irons in the fire with the lawsuit situations in Colorado. I think it's one of the tools that we have to fight the corruption in Colorado. But when we talk about the corruption, people, if you think you understand how corrupt this state is in Colorado, and you think you understand how corrupt the government is, you've only scratched the surface. It's so much more than anybody could ever imagine. And the voting system is just one piece of it. Yeah. So this lawsuit, I've got two lawsuits that I'm working on right now. One of them is the whistleblower case. I have a case against the state of Colorado for whistleblower. I was literally fired from my job for blowing the whistle, and they have framed it as violating CADA, which is a Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act. Because how dare me, somebody who believes that there are only two sexes, male and female, speak out against gender ideology and DEI and the abuse of federal tax dollars, your money, my money, our money, being used to peddle this Marxist ideology on Colorado. So they terminated my employment for that after they had a investigation on me, which was nothing more than a fishing expedition, and then 2 disciplinary hearings. And then it dragged on for 6 months. They fired me, and now I have filed a lawsuit against the state of Colorado for that type of behavior. People say all the time, Joe, Rich, doesn't the state of Colorado and the federal government protect whistleblowers? And I like to point out, if Colorado actually cared about following the law, I would have never been a whistleblower to begin with.
Well, that goes to say that there are a lot of whistleblowers that are out there that have come forward. You're one of many, and yet all of those cases seem futile. I mean, we can go back to the Epstein whistleblower and the blowing the whistle on the child sex crimes against children all over the country by judges and politicians, and you had Pam Bondi that said, hey, listen, if we actually went after everyone on the Epstein list, we'd have no one left in government. True story.
Yeah. Well, and she was who I reported the fraud going on here and the appropriation of our tax dollars going to fund DEI, which is in direct violation of President Trump's executive order 14151. And she didn't do anything about it. I don't know what she was busy doing. I guess she was probably getting her mani-pedi for the day, but she was apparently so busy with all of these other things that she couldn't ensure that there was actual justice being done and that President Trump's executive orders were being followed. So at the end of the day, nothing at the federal government, nothing at the federal level has been done with my whistleblower case. And it makes me as a whistleblower quite mad. Imagine literally losing your livelihood. And I've had to deal with death threats. I've had to deal with losing my job. I've had my character and my reputation absolutely destroyed. And the state of Colorado has made blatantly false accusations against me that are all coming out in discovery. And how do you recover from that? I can't find a job because nobody wants to touch a whistleblower with a 10-foot pole when it comes to trying to find employment. And when I've talked to other whistleblowers, it's costing their marriage, it costs people their homes, it costs people everything that they have. And that's by design. That's what these Democrats want to do, is destroy the life of anybody who dares to speak out against their agenda.
You've had quite the run with having to deal with the what you're talking about as far as retaliation. Have you filed a lawsuit in part claiming retaliation as far as not being able to find a job? Because I know that they basically like to talk. I know that they once they put their claws in, you can't seem to. And you can't do it in other states either.
Well, and that's part of the problem is they create this process, and you have to realize that this process is written by the people who are going to abuse they write the laws so they can abuse the laws. And in Colorado, you have to go through a process. If you're a state employee, you got to go through their process and you got to go through their procedures before you can file a lawsuit. And it's the same with anybody else. I've got a situation where I'm working with the EEOC, and the field office in Colorado in Denver has told me that they have a 12-month backlog of cases to investigate at the EEOC. So I have to wait 12 months.
How is that even possible? How is it possible that you could have something significant and they tell you have to wait 12 months in order to get a result? It doesn't make any sense.
That's just them doing the investigation to determine if anything happened and then giving you the right to turn around and sue. So you have to go through all of these processes. There's this gatekeeping that goes on, and it's designed to protect the corrupt.
So what's the solution? What's the solution for this? I mean, and I want everyone to understand that you actually don't know until you have to become a part of the process, and you think you're free. Rich, do you feel free? You feel like a free man?
Absolutely not. We have these freedoms, we have constitutional protections, but those mean absolutely
Slaves
nothing.
have freedoms. They can walk down the street too until somebody else tells them they can't.
We don't have freedom and we don't have protection if we're not willing to fight to protect them. And that is exactly what this is about. And I think that is, this is just one piece of it. And, the other piece of it that I don't know if we'll talk about, but I just filed my petition for writ of cert with the United States Supreme Court because they tried to silence people. I was one of the people who was silenced in the People's House in Colorado on Tierra's law when I refused to use preferred names and pronouns. And Senator Julie Gonzalez is one of the ones who gobbled me out and threw me out of the People's House because I refused to bow to their ideology.
Oh, they said that you dead named someone.
Yeah, I dead named and misgendered people, and that was disrespectful. So speaking biological truth, speaking factually in the People's House is considered, and speaking uncomfortable truths in the People's House is now suddenly considered disrespectful. What's really ironic to me is Senator Julie Gonzalez and these Democrats in Colorado are the ones who talk about being inclusive and being tolerant and being welcoming, but anybody who doesn't align with their ideology and conform to their rules, they are going to be intolerant of. They aren't going to be inclusive toward. Is this hypocrisy on the grandest level? And this is one of the things that blows my mind is what is the solution? Well, we can't even get to the federal courts because both the 10th, we filed a court case here in Colorado, the 10th Circuit Court twice. They said, nope, legislative immunity applies here. And under legislative immunities, legislators can force you to use the speech that they want you to use. They can compel your speech and they can engage in ideological discrimination and viewpoint discrimination. And that's why we've had to take this all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Hopefully the Supreme Court will take it. Hopefully they'll rule in our favor because at the end of the day, Joe, this isn't about me. This isn't about my rights as an individual. This is about standing up to fight and protect the rights of every American citizen to speak their mind freely and make sure that the government does not infringe upon those rights. A lot of people think that the Bill of Rights is a bill that guarantees you rights. No, the Bill of Rights assumes that those rights already exist, and it places a limit on the power of government to not infringe upon those rights.
All right. There's a lot that I want to unpack that you just said. Let's start with this. You filed a case because you dead named someone and you sent it all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court hears 1% of the cases that are put in front of them. So they can use, by the way, if that many cases have to get to the Supreme Court, and I think it's probably less than that now, it's like 0.1%, because there's so many cases, so many misdeeds and misgivings that are against the American people that they just can't hear. I mean, this is how corrupt our country is. This is how backwards our states have become. This is how much the American people are slaves in all 50 states. There is not enough time for the Supreme Court justices to hear the case. So they get to hear one case, two case, three case, maybe five cases, and they will bypass 1,000 cases. Are you concerned that that'll happen here? Or do you think that you actually have a chance of getting through to them?
Oh, I think because two things. One, this is one of those cases where different circuits have ruled differently on it. So we have split circuits. And so this is one of those ones where maybe the United States Supreme Court has to come in and set precedent and correct that. But the other thing is there's a long-standing doctrine among the Supreme Court justices that they don't want to interfere with legislative processes. So that makes it challenging to get them to hear it. But there's also a lot of cases that are being working their way through the federal courts regarding gender ideology and conformity with this ideology that requires you to compel your speech and change your way of thinking or suffer the consequences. And that is why I do hope that they will take this case. I realize that I'm not just this isn't really just one representative case. This case represents hundreds of other cases and countless other people who have been victims of viewpoint discrimination and compelled speech by progressives in the state of Colorado and across the country. This is one of the ones that I hope they'll take because I hope and I believe it will send a message that you don't get to talk about being inclusive and you don't get to talk about being tolerant and then turn around and shut down speech and ideas that you don't agree with. And, Joe, you've heard me say this before. I believe in letting people believe whatever they want to believe in. I don't care if you're a Muslim, Christian, a Jew, a vegan, or a tranny. You can believe whatever you want to believe in, but you don't have the right to impose your beliefs on other people. Your right to believe what you want to believe ends the moment it impinges upon the freedom and liberties of others.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about a lot of different things, and we find ourselves, it's becoming more and more obvious that the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are two controlled apparatuses that are designed to bring people towards some sort of common fight the other side, right? And we're desperately, as people in our community, trying to look for a true north or a non-evil path. But both parties represent that same sort of anemacy or evil that betrays the people in our country. And so we've talked about the fact that the Democrats are not my problem, Republicans are not my problem, leadership is my problem, right? The fact that they can betray the people so easily and get away with it because they have a judiciary that, frankly, operates with immunity. So you can't do anything to a judge, right? You can't, right? I mean, a judge can do whatever he wants, and it gets zero held accountable for their behavior. Zero.
Yeah.
That's not a free country.
It's not. And Joe, you know me well enough. Probably many of your viewers and the people who have seen the stuff that I post on X, I was at the Freedom Festival last month that was down in Douglas County. And I got a person on X who's like, I'm so-and-so on X and you attacked me on X. And I just said to her, I'm like, look, lady, there isn't anything that I said to you on X that I won't say right now to your face. I said, if you have a problem with the fact that if there was something I said that was factually incorrect, let's have that conversation. But if something I said that was true and you're the one that's offended, then you're the one that needs to get right with God. And I will speak the truth, and I don't care who it offends. I don't care if you're Democrat, Libertarian, Independent, Republican.
Do you think we've done too much on the party side, though?
I think we have. And the truth is not partisan. And I just want to tell people you got a responsibility to the truth. You don't have a responsibility to a party or a policy.
Well, I said we had to, I said this when I was running for chair, that we have to get behind the R's, right? And then I saw how the election went, where they basically fraudulently represented the primary against either Barb Kirkmeyer or Scott Bottoms, either one. And it's not actually possible for Victor Marks to win without them defrauding the vote count. It's just not possible. And for it to be 40-40-20 exactly, and for the 20% never to change, Barb Kirkmeyer never changed percentage-wise, but Victor Marks did. It's not only improbable, it's impossible. It's not possible for that to happen, right? And you have people on Mark's side that said, oh, it was God intervened. I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this stupidity. I can't. God did not intervene in a primary to make Victor Marks the guy that's nearly diabolical, the candidate that I have to support. I just can't support him.
I can't either. And I'm with you. And I will tell you, I just don't understand how a party that talks about values and morals and ethics, whether it's fiscal responsibility, family values, whether it's about rule of law, I don't understand how a party can, and the voters of that party can talk, and then completely abdicate all of the responsibility that they share when it comes. And Jeff Hunt, I'm going to call you out by name. You are the mouthpiece for Victor Marks, and you prop this man up. And then all of a sudden he wins the election. And this Victor Marks has no integrity. Everything about him is fabricated or a lie.
I don't know if everything about him. I mean, I hope he knows Jesus. I really do. I mean, I think we don't have to go hyperbolic. We don't have to go all the way that way. I mean, there's probably some good things, but he definitely has one of the most screwed up families that you could probably come up with.
The families, his campaign finance issues that he's out there. How can I trust someone to run the state financially if he can't even run his own campaign with ethics and truth? So those are some issues that I really have. That's why I can't get behind him. And the other thing, Joe, as you know, I'll just go back to a story that I shared. When I had oral arguments in my case against the state legislature, it was September 10th. September 10th, as many people know, was also the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Yeah.
That day, while I was in the courtroom in downtown Denver, there are two people that were in that courtroom with me, and one of them was Greg Lopez. Greg Lopez has stood by me through all of this. It wasn't anybody that's in this parental rights movement. It wasn't anybody that's in this anti-transgender rights movement who wants to stop child mutilation like I do. It wasn't any Republican members of the state legislature. It was none of those people. It was Greg Lopez.
Yeah.
And so
I just talked to him earlier today, and I got Greg I put a post up on X that said, we need 2,000 volunteers for Greg Lopez's campaign. He's an independent. Yep. He's a conservative. He's a Republican, but he went unaffiliated so he could run as an independent because he felt that he actually predicted it. He's like, Joe, they're not going to let anyone but Victor Marks win that. As soon as Victor Marks got in it, he's like, I'm telling you, they're not going to let. He predicted it. He is the ultimate like election denier because he's like, they're not going to let anybody else win but him.
By me speaking out and saying that I support Greg Lopez, where was Victor Marks during any of these hearings at the legislature or any school board meeting, even in Douglas County, when it came to gender ideology, parental rights, or the books that are in our school libraries and classrooms? He was nowhere to be found. But Greg Lopez was there. It was Greg Lopez who actually reached out to me and said, hey, Rich, there's this group called Protect Kids Colorado. They're forming. We need somebody to be a proponent on the girls' sports ballot initiative. It was him, his wife, and Valdemar Archuleta. We all met up at Dave and Buster's. We talked about it. They showed me the language, and I said, absolutely, I'm in. It was Greg Lopez who mentored me on how the legislative process works, both at the state level and at the federal level. It was Greg Lopez who met me in DC. It was Greg Lopez who introduced me to the Speaker of the House, to Nancy Mace, to Thomas Massey, and to countless other members of Congress and the Senate.
And he did so without anything in return. He just did it.
He did it because he is a man of principle. Yeah. And I think that's where I stand also. And that's why I have taken so much crap from the Republicans because I came out and I endorsed Greg Lopez for governor. And the people that have said I'm disappointed, and I probably have ruined any opportunity I have of winning my election, but that's probably a long shot from the beginning. But when the Republicans don't want to endorse you because you endorse somebody who stands on principle over party, that's fine. That's absolutely fine with me.
But he really is. He is a Republican. I mean, let's be honest. He's a Republican. He's more of a Republican than anybody else that's on the ticket.
Yeah, that's true. But this is one of those things where we got to look at policy. We got to look at principle, and we got to stop. I don't believe in party loyalty at this point in time. And if the Republicans ever want to get serious about being a true opposition party to the Democrats, which are now socialists in Colorado, I'm open to that conversation. I'd love to see your game plan for that. But until the Republicans become a real party of serious opposition to the Democrat agenda in Colorado, we may as well just vote for the independent at this point. So I hope the Democrats can finally pull their head out. I hope the Democrats can figure out, first of all, let me just say, if you're a Democrat and you didn't vote in the primary, shame on you. We had 24% voter turnout rate in my district, in my Senate district. 24%. That's pathetic, especially in a case where your ballots show up and they sit on your counter in your kitchen or your dining room table, and you throw it in the trash. You want to know why the Republicans lose? Because Republicans are too lazy to vote. It's easier to just piss and moan online than it is to actually do something to fix the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%, 2,000%, 5,000%. I don't know what percentage it is, but I agree with you all the way. we it's fun. It's funny elections because a vast majority of people don't vote. They don't vote. You know why they don't vote? Because they figured out a long time ago it didn't matter. They were going to get screwed either way.
Yep.
And I'm telling people to vote. I'm telling people to vote for the unlikely candidate. I'm telling people to get out there, the zeros and ones, people that haven't voted, make your voice be heard. Flood it, wreck it, Ralph. And there's a couple of problems, a couple of reasons why people don't. One, they're disappointed in the opportunity index that's been provided for their children. They're disappointed they can't afford more because the government is taking so much meat off the bone. They feel like they're hopeless, helpless. They're standing all alone, invisible even. And it's hard to get to a place where people can feel like they can have make a real difference being one person in the sea of just nonsense that they have to deal with. They're just worried about their kids being groomed in schools, right? Or being able to pay for a meal on the table or getting shoes for their children. It's disheartening.
It really is. And it's interesting to me because I've seen it as someone who's fought, as someone who sat through committee hearings across the country on Capitol Hill, met with legislators. And here's the thing that I've come to realize. When you sit through these meetings and you listen to our elected representatives, or in Colorado's case, appointed representatives, talk about and identify the problem, talk about and identify solutions, and then do nothing, it's frustrating. And I think the other thing that really has stood out to me as I've gone throughout the campaign, I've knocked on thousands of doors, I've talked to people, I've talked to businesses. Both parties are widely out of touch with the issues that matter to the voters. And I know that because I've had the conversations with people at their door. I've had the conversations in their living rooms. I've had the conversations so I know what I'm talking about. People don't care about these issues that the Republicans are pounding the pulpit about.
They don't care about them at all. None.
No, they want to know, how am I going to afford to buy groceries? How am I going to afford to buy a house or stay in my house? And how do we protect our families? Then the Democrats, on the other hand, all they've got is Orange Man bad. That's their entire campaign platform. So we have a real opportunity right now to motivate people to vote if we simply talk to the issues that matter to the people. And I hope we can get out there and do that. Joe, I think your platform is doing a phenomenal job of that. But so many of the things that you hear the Republican talking heads talking about, it's
retarded.
It is.
It's retarded. Just if they just focus on one thing, and that is, it's really simple. Get rid of the machines. Get rid of the mail-in ballots. Let the people have a voice, right? And to the people, I mean, it's really simple for them. Stop taking all my damn money. Stop making it so that I have to rent my house from you. Stop making it so that my children can't afford to have, a quality education. Stop grooming them and putting piddling books inside of the schools, and stop letting these retards run for office. I mean, it's crazy. We're headed towards one of two things. Either they're going to give us free and fair elections, or we're going to have a rebellion. Rich, which one? You pick. It's happening.
It's happening, and I'm rooting for the rebellion at this point in time. Throw some more tea in the harbor, guys, because this is going to be an all-nighter.
But it's what the amazing part is that we're almost there. Like, I have no respect for it. I'll put it this way. I had a person call me from the state, and they told me I had to do something, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." And they're like, "You have to," and I was like, "Yeah," and then they're like, "We'll come take your business," and I was like, "What's your name?" She told me her name, and I was like, "Why don't you come on over, Red Rover? Come be an example." She goes, "Are you threatening me?" I said, "Be an example. Be an example to everyone else of what happened on Tea Day, way back in the day at the Boston Tea Party." And she goes, you have an obligation. I said, you pass laws and then you tell me I got to pay for it. I'm not paying for it. I have no interest. I don't want to do it. Go fish. She goes, well, it's required. No, it's not. It's not required. You're telling me it's required, but it's not. I'm not doing it. And so I get 2 or 3 phone calls, and the whole time, very respectful. But I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. And they're like, well, we can take your business. I was like, well, you can show me the statute where you can take my business, and you can come take it. Come try. Let me see you try. But this is how I respond to everyone, Rich. You know this about me. This is how I respond to everyone. I believe in life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I believe that people should have opportunity. I don't believe that we should have, privatized prisons, right? And now privatized probation officers and privatized. I mean, they basically are just farming out their ability to make other people slaves inside of our environment that get to punish us without ever getting close to the man. While you have judges that go out there and act with impunity. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I think that goes back to, for me, it's always been about protecting constitutional freedoms, our constitutional rights.
How, if you don't take a stand, do you do that? You think the court's going to give it to you, Rich? Think the court's going to give it to you? And I talked to a lot of buddies, man. They're all like, let's get it on, Joe. And I was like, listen, somebody comes to your house to do harm to you, and they say they're here to take you. They're not taking you. Just call me. I'll be right there. Right. But we're having to build packs and fraternities among men, right? I told you before. Rich is like, I've got something going on. I said, what do you need? I'll be right there. Greg Lopez, right there, right? But we've got to figure out a way that we actually fight against these people without them being able to run us through the ringer. You got to go through a year of 12 months before they even look at the case to say, kiss the ring. Now you can go sue. I mean, it's absurd, Rich. Come on now. It's not real. That's not America. That's not the America that any American would even, and now they're trying to basically genocide America and bring in a bunch of retards that are single-digit IQs, put them in our community and say, here's a free education. It's like handing them a toast and a banana. They don't even know what to do with it. Like,
What they're teaching our children in school and in the universities, and what they're not teaching our children in schools and in the universities is by design.
It's crazy. Come on, man. I was just talking to my niece about it. I was like, get off that stupid YouTube. Get off that YouTube. Go outside and do something, right? And I said, what do you guys do for fun? Like, what do you do? You watch videos. I was like, we're not in my house, you don't. Get your ass outside, right? My point is that we've literally poisoned the mind of our children, and we've allowed retards to tell us, and we negotiate with it. They're trying to push us to fight each other, when the only person we should be focused on is them. Like, they did this.
Right.
These leaders did this. They're the ones that put it in place so that we would fight each other. And then they have the police there to arrest the good people for standing up for moral values. It's a system that's designed to hurt us, enslave us, and to beat us while they get to watch and stuff their faces. That's what.
And the other thing too is when they finally see that there's that person who gets out of line and recognizes who the threat is and starts going after the threat, then what they do is they get everybody else to go after that individual. So, for me, I've had this opportunity to stand up and be a whistleblower. Funny how everybody turns on me.
No, I haven't turned on you. I don't want anybody to turn on you.
No, I'm saying that
somebody tried to, and I was like, yeah, shut up. I had a friend of mine say, I was like, yeah, just shut up. Just shut up. You're
were they offended that I spoke the truth? That if they were, that's their problem.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the people that you work with who are supposed to be your coworkers, and the people in your community that are supposed to be in your community, they're the ones that they turn on you, because that's exactly what happens is your character becomes poisoned, and they just say, oh, well, he did this, he did that. It becomes an ad hominem attack. And I think a lot of that is designed because they need to distract from the actual issues that are going on, and they don't have any truth on their side. So if you can't attack the issue, attack the person that raises awareness about the issue. And that's fine. People want to attack me, that's fine. At the end of the day, I don't have any kids. I don't need to use the women's bathroom. And if I walked away from all of this
You're
right
not
now,
a transgender.
No.
You're gay. That's the complete
Yeah.
difference. I hope you wouldn't
Totally.
go in a women's bathroom.
you know, there was one time I got off the plane. It was a late flight, and I had to go to the bathroom really bad. And I walked in, and I turned around. And I was like, "Oh, this is the women's restroom," and I walked out really fast. So I don't, you know,
I can see you doing that too. Like, I am not supposed to be here.
like, where's the urinal? So it's one of those things where I really hope people understand I have no skin in the game. I do this because I understand the bigger picture. I understand the rights that are on the line, and they're not my individual rights, they're our rights collectively. And that's why we need more people to stand with each other and stop fighting each other and fight the people who are our true oppressors. I don't know how else I can put it any plainer. My opponent isn't the Victor Marxes of the world. It's not the Republicans in Colorado. It's not people like Aaron Lee or Lori Gimmelstein. It's not those people. It's not Brandy Bradley. My opposition is this cultural Marxism that has taken root in our state and in our country and is trying to destroy our families and our freedom.
And look, I mean, that opportunity got you to the place where you're highly educated. And I didn't know you went to BYU. Maybe that's not a quality education, but
I mean, I took Book of Mormon
really
for 2 semesters. Go read Aesop's Fables next.
Look, I have a lot of Mormon friends, and I grew up in a partially Mormon family, so there's that.
I have a ton of respect for them, but I just don't believe in their theology. That's how I put it. And I respect them.
They're all good people, though, and the family aspect of it is hard to run away from. So here, I want to play this for you because one of the things that you have talked about is the fact that people are just semi-retarded. You have the Queers for Palestine, and I want to connect these dots, right? So, and you put this post up, so we'll do that in a second. But I want to play this video. This is the Berlin, Germany terrorists, which is a radical Muslim. Let's play it.
Back with a Fox News alert, police have now killed the suspect who allegedly drove a car through a pride parade yesterday in Berlin in what authorities say was an Islamic terror attack. 21-year-old Abdul Balut is accused of killing at least one and injuring 29 others. Authorities say he has Lebanese roots and is allegedly tied to the country's, quote, Islamist scene. The suspect had previously been investigated for planning a terror attack and faced legal trouble in both Lebanon and Germany. Jason, this is not the first car attack that we have seen in Germany. Where do the authorities go from here?
Look, it's so sad because there are families that are grieving lost loved ones. I mean, just the sheer terror, it did what it was intended to do, which is create terror. But if people that believe in the Pride movement, and people that are Christians, people that are Jewish, people that believe in anything other than Islam, think that some of these Islamists will live in unison with others, there's a lot of them that won't. And there's a lesson to be learned there. And you got to be really careful here because there is an aggressive nature. It's not everybody, okay? I don't want to be, taking a sweeping generality to everybody. But this routinely happens time and time again. It's almost comical to me that somebody who believes in the Pride movement also believes in the Islamist movement.
Okay, I just want to point something out.
The
If
elephant
you're
in the room, isn't
gay
it?
and you're in the Middle East, I mean, because you have the Queers for Palestine. So we gotta put this post up. Square this round hole for me, please. Not sure you can. And you put up this Queers for Palestine is not a fringe curiosity. It's the distilled essence of a broader progressive tendency. The insistence on allying with ideology that spent 14 centuries practicing conqueror slavery and the subordination of women and sexual nonconformists while claiming to stand for liberation for all. And you got a picture of a guy being thrown off a building. That's not conjecture. If you're gay and you are in the Middle East, there's a high probability that you're going to, I believe I can fly. You might get thrown off a building, right? Am I wrong?
This is why I say all the time, these Queers for Palestine, if you really care about what you believe in, let me know. We'll work on funding a trip for you to go to Palestine so you can liberate all of those oppressed homosexuals and trannies that are in Palestine. I hear the rooftop views are legendary.
Yeah. So just so
But-
you know, in Iran, if you go through this, which is actually put it in there if you would in the comments so people can read it. But if you go through this and you go over time, you have a picture of Iran publicly hanging a man for homosexuality charges. You have they stone people to death, women for having sex outside of marriage. It is, yeah. I mean, you have a bunch of pictures in here, which I think are from. It's a fascinating article, right? But and you have a picture called the. Can you guys put it up, please, on the thing? The most confused coalition in modern history, and it's got a gay flag, a Palestinian flag, and then a Hamas person hanging one of the gay people that was, yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And I see that you're being shadow banned on this article. They must not really like it. They must not like you for that.
How dare I speak the truth?
Yeah.
But it is really something that I think when you connect the dots and you understand, we in Western civilization have a lot of freedom and liberty that we, I think, probably take for granted. We have in our country and in Western civilization the right to practice whatever faith or religion we want to practice. We can speak freely in the United States. Other Western countries like Australia, Canada, and the UK, I see that is under threat. And we also have women can work, women can wear whatever they want or not wear whatever they want. Women can vote, women can have bank accounts, they can have credit cards, they can own property. These values, the gays and lesbians have the rights that they have because of Western values. And I in this really contrast that with a lot of the Muslim ideology. And Muslim ideology is inherently very conservative. And the values that we embrace in Western culture, we might want to call them conservative, but they're actually very liberal values when you compare them to where Muslim ideology comes from. And even where we were 300, 400 years ago. So I talk about a lot of the things that Muslim culture has embraced, the Western values, the freedom and liberties that we have, the emancipation of enslaved people, the right to vote, the right for women, all of these things that we have in Western society. And the biggest problem that I see is these queers for Palestine are so poisoned in the mind that they think that they're being progressive by aligning themselves with one of the most regressive conservative cultures on the planet, this religious ideology, Muslim ideology. But when you understand what the end goal is of both queer activism and Muslim activism, this extremism seeks the destruction of families and Western society. So they've aligned. And now the queers have made their bed, they get to sleep in it. They're finding out, because this isn't the first time that the Muslims have targeted the queer community. They Pulse in Orlando, that was a Muslim. The Ariana Grande concert, that was a Muslim. Berlin Pride, that was a Muslim. And so now that the queers are starting, the queers for Palestine have been really quiet. I think somebody should probably do a welfare check on them right now.
But I think they got thrown off some buildings. Are you saying we might have a building problem?
I hate to sound like I'm cold-hearted, but I have no sympathy for the Queers for Palestine movement right now, because this is when you choose to align yourself with an ideology that seeks your own destruction and seeks the destruction of the culture and governments that give you the freedom to be able to align with that.
Well, it's designed to destroy us. I mean, this is chaos that's being created by people above it.
Yep.
That are feeding this. So this isn't normal people. These are retards.
Yep.
Right. That want to be retarded. So I mean, they're afflicted.
They've been told they have to be inclusive, and anybody who speaks out about this.
How are you inclusive when you're not inclusive of everyone? Great. I think you're a retard. They lose their mind.
Embrace exclusion. And it's not Islamophobia to point out that this is a group of people who want to seek your own destruction. That's not Islamophobia. That's fact.
Have a mosque, man. Go ahead, but have a mosque. Go do your prayers, dua, right? Dua.
Just don't
5 times a day,
let's
prayer, right?
keep the music down.
But whatever, right? Just leave me alone
Exactly.
and assimilate to our society. We don't walk around in hijab, right? You want to walk around in hijab? I'm actually even okay with it, but you're not going to be treated any differently. And we have an ethos, we have a culture, right? If you don't like it, get out, right? That's the way it's been for 250 years. And then all of a sudden we got to like kowtow to this. I want to show you this. This is the cultural takeover. This had nothing to do with tolerance. This has to do with culturally taking over. And I'm going to tell you, people, and they are pissing people off. People in England want to burn them down. They literally are making lists. I say make lists. I got the list from the people over in Europe. They're making lists, right? Nobody in government there is safe right now because they literally they're past pissed off, right? Play this. This is a cultural takeover in England.
Just in the British section of the Canadian supermarket, and I'm so glad that they've got all of my favourite British things. Like these are so good. And the Caju butter cookies, they're obviously amazing. We've got some Punjabi cookies, that great British. I mean, it says Britannia on it, so it's got to be British. Got some more Punjabi cookies. Suji Wusk. I just love these British snacks. They're the best. And yeah, of course, not forgetting all of the bhujia sev, tasty nuts. I do love tasty nuts. Chakpata dal, just the best. Love the British section.
That's not British.
Nope.
And see, this is the problem. Is that they want to save a certain number of people. They have it all figured out. They have their underground bunkers, their playbooks, they have everything put in place. They want us to kill each other. What happens when we turn this and we're like, listen, we're not playing this game anymore? And we turn it and say, we're done with your fake elections. We're done with all your bullshit and this slave trade that you've created. What happens when that happens, Rich? And I think we're there. I think we're there. I think we're really close. Huh?
I think you're going to see, look at Germany right now. 6 months ago, I had a friend of mine from Germany. He's also gay. We were doing a Zoom and he said, our country is captured. We are a caliphate at this point in time. And
you don't say he's gay too?
He's gay too, but he said
two people gay. The same. That's like an anomaly.
He's sitting in Germany as someone who grew in Germany and saying, we're a caliphate.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets any more of an anomaly, though, when you start seeing people from around the world saying, look, this type of ideology and these governments that have allowed this to happen are the ones that are responsible for it. And people across the sexual orientation spectrum, across your identities, are starting to wake up and say, this is wrong. And we've got to understand that this is what we've seen in Europe and the UK needs to be an example and a lesson to what we see happening right now in the United States, in Texas, in Dearborn, Michigan, right here in Colorado, in Arizona. If we are not careful and we don't wake up and join together to fight against this, we're going to lose our country. And I guarantee you that these terrorist attacks that are going to come,
our country. We're not going to lose our country.
We're losing.
We're not losing. Listen to me. We're at the place right now. We're warning them. Right. I can tell you right now, there's plenty of people out there that are just had enough. We're done with the race baiting. We're done with all of it. I'm talking about black people, brown people, green people, yellow people, three-footed people, one-legged people, gay people, straight people, polyamorous people. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you call them. All people, they're just pissed. They're done. I'm done being your slave. I'm done with you telling me what was going to come next.
We're done. They have to get out. I worry though, because I see there's so much apathy in our communities right now that they don't vote. So my question is really simple. If we don't vote, how do we expect them to get out and actually fight to save our country and our culture?
We're past voting. You can't vote because the machines are it's all fraudulent. It's all fraudulent. The whole thing's fraudulent, right? It's not even real. And they're stealing it down ballot. And the president needs to wake up. He needs to wake up to the reality that they're stealing every election.
Every election is stolen. Even the school board elections are stolen.
It doesn't matter what level it is. They get to decide. Yep. They get to pick and choose what they take, when they take it. And they got somebody up there that's like the little magic genie that's like, oh, let's take all of it. And people, places like Colorado and California are just done. If you don't toe the line, Lauren Boebert, massive red district, almost loses to a Democrat. And all of a sudden she just flips and changes her tune, and now she's, Madam Play for Evil, Team Evil. I mean, it doesn't make that makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I don't give a shit about her or anybody else, by the way. I personally have had enough. I've had enough of the bullshit. I've had enough of it. I think we're past the part where we have to listen to Lisa Weiser and Jared Polis, that piece of shit. Rich, I feel like I'm going to have to get a couch and pull it up, and you're going to have to pay me. I'm going to have to pay you by the hour here in a minute.
I think we're getting to the point. I hate to see where this could go, but you're right. I hear the frustration when I'm talking to people at their doors, when I'm knocking on their doors and I talk to them. And I don't think that either party has a solution right now. And I agree with you. I think a lot of people are disillusioned. That's why they don't vote. What is the solution?
Somebody votes. It's just not the people.
Yeah. What is the solution though? I wish I had that answer, because I don't think it's even it's definitely not in the legislative process. I don't think our executive branches, whether it's state level or their United States level, I don't think that they are. Maybe they're aware of the magnitude of the problem, but they just don't care. But I also don't think that we can litigate
part of it. They're in on it.
That's exactly what I think. And I'll say this too. I don't think that this problem is unique to the United States.
Yeah, I think this is a global problem. I think that they have there's a small group of people that basically put the World Economic Forum, bring everybody in, teach them their retarded ideas, and push them back out. They start funding things. It's a group of people. The head of the snake is not that big, right? And it's multi-generational. It's going back years and years and years and years. These people think that they are above all of us, right? And they hide in plain sight. And frankly, that's where we're at right now, right? We can see it, we can smell it, we can taste it, and we're just done. I mean, the people are done. Done. Yep. I'm done. I want to show you this. This is in America. This is Muslims are flexing. By the way, I was at Costco yesterday, and a guy in a whatever you want to call it, Muslim guy, said move. That's how he told me to move. Now, I've never had a negative interaction with someone in Texas till yesterday. Yesterday was the first time. But I'm sitting there, and I got my cart, and I don't want to be there anyway because I don't like to shop. My wife wanted me to go somewhere. I said, okay, I'll go. And he said, move. And I was like, I know you're not talking to me. And he said, move. And I was like, yeah, that's not how you get a grown man to do anything. And he said, move. And I said, you could say it to your blue in the face. You want to come over here and move me? Come move me, boy. So I called this guy boy in the middle of the supermarket, and he backed up. And then I stood in front of his cart saying, come on, let's go. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll throw you around like a rag doll. I was pissed, right? But I was calmly pissed. And he decided to back up and go the other way. I was like, that's what I thought. Right? Hijabi boy.
We have to be aware of the fact that they're right here in Colorado. And I'll tell you, I've seen here in my own.
I don't mind Muslims.
I don't either, but
I like Muslims.
We have to make sure that, I think, wherever you come from, whether it's from Mexico, Albania, Romania, Venezuela, we have a culture here in our country. You came here because of our culture. You came here because of our values. And
then they bitch about it and want to kick us out. Get out.
Go home. Love it. Love the country you live in, or live in the country you love.
My wife was going to kill me yesterday. She's going to kill me that I even put it on the show. All right, I want to show you the flex. All right, play the video up of the flex. Flex, master flex.
This is how we walk around with our sunnah clothing. All right, looking like a Muslim. One of the reasons for doing this is to let people know, first of all, that we are Muslim, alhamdulillah. Second, to let them know that there's a lot of Muslims around here, right? And third, to take the weight off of the shoulders of our sisters. You know, our sisters that wear scarves or they wear niqab, they cannot, hide their identity. And these cowards who are attacking Muslims, they usually go after the weak ones. So when we dress like Muslims, we are taking some weight off of the shoulders of our sisters, and then it makes it harder for these cowards to attack Muslims because there are more of us out there. So especially this is a plea for the brothers. When you're walking around in your own time, walk like a Muslim, my brother. Put your own traditional clothes on and let the people know that you're a Muslim and proud of it. Alhamdulillah.
All right, so just so we're clear, that is not traditional Muslim garb. That is traditional garb from Arab world. Christians dressed like that. just so we're clear, that is not. You can talk about whatever you want. A Muslim does not dress like that. Being a Muslim is a faith. It is not a you have to wear your traditional garb. There's nowhere in the Quran that says anything about that. Am I right? All right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're not dressing like a Muslim. You're dressing like you're in a third world country. Go there then. Right? Am I wrong?
Go back to the Arab country if that's how you want to dress.
Yeah.
And in my thing that you talked about earlier on X, I do talk about that he's talking about these sisters that are oppressed. I don't know, maybe that's his wife. I don't know. We in the United States have embraced rights for women. And, when we talk about these queers for Palestine, talking about we're going to make sure that nobody's oppressed, whether you're queer or a woman. Well, first of all, we can't even identify what a woman is. But now all of a sudden you're aligning with this ideology that is repressive to women. And if you've been around any of the queer community and seen the protests that they hold here in Colorado, you know who Zoe is, the Act Up to Exist, the person that leads a lot of the occupation at DU and Metro State, person who does the protests in front of Drip Coffee. That's all the same person. She would literally be dead if the Muslim ideology was allowed to take root in this country and in this state.
Yep.
She would literally be dead.
Yep. Well, brother, I appreciate you fighting. I know I get to talk to you about all sorts of stuff when we're on the show, but keep fighting. How do people follow you?
You can follow me on the X account. It's 5280 based homo. That's it.
You got to follow him. I follow him.
I promise you it's going to be spicy.
Just so you know, if you like common sense and you like Captain Obvious stuff, he's going to give it to you.
Or as I like to say, if I haven't offended you yet, just wait. Your time is coming. I'm an equal opportunity offender.
That was the conversation I had with my buddy. I was like, just go have a conversation with Rich. He's a good guy. No, he offended me. I was like, I offend you pretty much regularly. He goes, yeah, but you're my friend. I said, well, he'll be your friend if you offend. Just go have a conversation with him. You don't have to agree.
I don't bite unless you're like a steak. I don't know. I do like meat. So, but I speak the truth and I don't apologize for that. And, if it offends you, and I say all the time, if something I said is factually incorrect, let's have a conversation because I want to be right. Yeah. I want to be correct.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem with something that I said being true, then that's a you problem.
Yeah. So here's the thing I will tell you that Rich will give it to you straight, and he's willing to fight for your rights, even when you maybe don't agree with everything he says. He's still out there fighting. He's doing more than 99.99% of America. So, Rich, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much, and we'll have you back on again.
All right. Thank you.
All right. God bless you. He's a great dude. Rich is a great dude. I get that. And I got to tell him my story. My wife's going to be mad at me for telling that story because she's like, you need to be nice to people. I was like, I was nice. He told me to move. I'm not moving. If you want to say, please, excuse me. You say, excuse me. I would have moved. I've been like, here you go through. Right? Tell me to move. I'm not moving. You say it 3 times like the third time like you're some sort of leprechaun. Like you say it 3 times, I'm going to turn into like Beetlejuice. Nope. Won't do that either. All right. Got to have a little bit of fun with people. All right. So let's talk about some of the other stuff. Before we do, we'll go to a quick commercial break. A lot of stuff's happened in Colorado when it comes to gun rights, by the way. And so we're going to be doing some stuff to stand up for the Second Amendment Foundation, for the Rocky Mountain gun owners, and do some stuff to help out some of the organizations that are out there. Also, we're going to be bringing you some more organizations such as Special Forces Foundations and other organizations that we want to at least highlight, if not support, and some of the missions that they have. We want to basically consolidate what we do in our communities to make sure that we're helping people that spend that money towards the people that most need it. So we'll go to this commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about by the way, this is probably the craziest it's been at DCF since 2020. And we have a waiting list and a line around the building at the moment at 2 of the stores. So pretty crazy stuff. Go ahead and check this out.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Міста знову Луцьк, балаклави. Дивіться, пакують хлопця в балаклавах.
Це ж був закон прийнятий.
Закон прийнятий, вони знову пакують в балаклавах. Номер. Жінку ветерана хотіли побити. Телефона. Волинські новини, дивіться.
There are hundreds of these going around, hundreds of these videos of Ukrainian men being abducted by military Azov battalion people that obviously don't have to serve on the front lines. They just get to go grab people and put them in the meat grinder. And let me explain to you something I said back in 2022. It still holds true today. The American people have no appetite to fight for the little evil midget, Zelensky. Zelensky's probably one of the most horrible human beings out there. He's a guy that I believe probably snorts more cocaine than Hunter Biden. Guy's so diabolical that his country is in total disrepair and he's out trying to pimp up more money and not coming to the table to stop the war in his own nation. And you could say it's complicated. It's complicated. It's not complicated. Your own people hate you. And I want to point something out. As Zelensky is in Washington today meeting with Trump, I'll go ahead and put this up. President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr is probably better. Zelensky discussing licenses for Ukraine to produce Patriot interceptors and diplomatic efforts to end the war during a Tuesday meeting. The closed-door session took place ahead of Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral. The little prick doesn't even know how to dress. I mean, he shows up in some sort of, I don't even know, like, who does he think he is? He thinks he's like Stark or something? I mean, who is this guy? He's an actor. He's a midget actor. He's literally 5 foot nothing, a little gay midget actor that likes to do crack cocaine. That's what you got in Zelensky. A douche nozzle that wants to put all of his people in a meat grinder. An illegitimately sitting president of Ukraine. And before you say no, we'll put this up here. Grok was asked how long Zelensky has been in power. Zelensky was elected in March of 2019 and inaugurated in May of 2019, over 7 years in office as of July 2026. Ukraine has been under martial law since Russia's full-scale invasion on February 24, 2022. Ukrainian law and the Constitution prohibit presidential and parliamentary elections during martial law. President's term extends until a new election can be held, which are set to occur within months after martial law ends. This is a legal requirement due to the war, security risks, occupational territory, and millions of displaced voters, not a personnel decision. Zelensky and Ukrainian officials have said elections will follow a ceasefire and restored security conditions. This stupid faggot, just so you know, I'm telling you right now, he could have held the election a long time ago. He could have gone in and stopped the meat grinder, but instead he's out there grabbing Ukrainians off the street, putting them in the meat grinder, and you got Americans over here that somehow think that it's okay to do what exactly? Slava Ukraine? I'm out. You say Slava Ukraine and you want to fight because you say Russia's this evil organization. I've had people say, oh yeah, Joe, you're a Russian sympathist. We had Coomer's lawyers say that I'm Russia. I must be like some sort of person for Russia. No, I'm for humanity. And the fact is that if you go back to the 8-year war that happened before 2022, for 8 years, the Azov battalion used children, women and children in Donbass as target practice, going to school. And they terrorized the people in their own country and acted with impunity. And ever since you had the Maidan coup way back in 2014, this is what the people of Ukraine have had to deal with. There is no peace in Ukraine. There's no people walking around having a good time. Now they're having a big party in Kiev because it's seemingly off the radar of whatever war is going on in Ukraine. But the billions of dollars that went there, man, those billions of dollars didn't go there to solve a war for weaponry. It went into their pockets. Ask me if I have an opinion on the subject. It favors him not to end this war because that little midget will be thrown out on his ass. And the devil's playground, which is what Ukraine is, for all of you guys that think that you understand Ukraine, you don't understand Ukraine. You've never been there. You've never spent time there. You've never spent time in the Balkans. You've never spent time in the area. You've never studied what goes on there. The biolabs that they had all over, secret biolabs all over Ukraine. Just the idea that people don't even fathom what's really happening. You're picking winners and losers, and I got to stand up for Ukraine, or you're somehow not an American. Or the standing up for Russia, saying, "Hey, listen, every day and twice on Sunday, I'll support Russia in this conflict," because you don't understand what the UN made promises to do. You don't understand the agreements that were made between Russia and the UN and the what is it called? NATO. Man, I'm getting myself all just pissed off. I don't think you guys understand at all what's happening in that region. You don't understand it. You don't understand. You have zero knowledge, right? You have zero knowledge. And you have a country in Ukraine that has terrorized other nations for decades. You put blue hats on the border of Russia, and you promised you would never go any further east, but you did. You lie. And all NATO has done and all the UN has done is just lied over and over and over again. And you expect Russia to do what? You not feel threatened when you put them on their border? And then you go through this process of terrorizing your own people, and Russia's right next door. And frankly, they're all related. So you think Russia's not going to step in when you got a humanitarian crisis being caused by people inside of Ukraine that basically are treating people like targets or in some sort of, video game? No, it's just not the way it works. But we look at what we're under right now in our own country, and I got to tell you, everything that we're going through here it's ridiculous. It's past ridiculous. Who wants to live in a world that is just a make-believe lie fest where they can rape your children, get out early, they throw the book at good people, you don't own anything, and they're now talking about taking more tax money from you while the states are doing all sorts of radical, weird stuff inside the community to make it almost impossible for your children to ever have opportunity in the future. No, it's just not. None of it makes any sense to me. None of it makes any sense to me. And beyond that, here's this little piece of trash, John Cornyn, saying the Senate GOP will not pass the Save America Act. Play it.
I don't understand the rationale. I think it's basically we're over-promising and we're not going to be able to deliver on that promise because we don't have the votes to pass it, no matter how long we stay, and we're not going to change the filibuster. So, but somehow the president's convinced that if he presses hard enough, that we will come around. And but I just don't think that's likely to happen.
Is he putting Thune in an impossible position here?
Well, I think, I wouldn't say impossible. They'll figure it out, but it's a very difficult position.
You're a piece of shit. Yeah, and John Thune, you're a piece of shit. You won't break the filibuster to save the American people and to put more respectable people in positions of trust and authority and hand back their elections. Now, these are trash heaps. No matter where we turn, it's not the people that are Democrats or Republicans, like I said before, that are betraying the American people. It's pieces of trash like this, some old bag of bones that frankly has been in office for longer than he's been in office since Moby Dick was a minnow. And he's the guy that tells us that, you're just not going to get it. We're not giving 82% of the people want the SAVE Act passed. But screw the government, screw the people, right? Fuck the people. We'll just let the people in power. They're the smartest people in the room. They have their people that are telling them what to do. Don't change the election systems because none of us will survive. Good, get out. And here's Steve Miller discussing what Democrats have become. It's not Democrats. It's Democrats, Republicans. It's all of them. They're all trash. Our entire government is run by a bunch of cartel thugs. And our judiciary is nothing but a bunch of ideologues that literally just, they must do child sacrifices. You name what they're doing. They're probably doing it all because none of them have stood up and done the right thing by the American people. Play it.
The people you mentioned, the names you mentioned, AOC, Bernie, the Squad, Omar, these are people who even 10 or 15 years ago would have been relegated to the outer extreme fringes of the Democrat Party. They're now the center of the party. They're the heart of the party. They're the soul of the party. So the Democrats have become a party of freaks, weirdos, losers, and crazies. But you can't laugh it off because it's deadly serious. Wow. When you give these people power, everything you know and love in this world falls apart. You have chaos, corruption, decay, violence, poverty.
There you go. There you go. There you go. The interesting part about it is that, yeah, they're freaks. And that should tell you everything you need to know about the fact that we're not filled with a country full of freaks. We're not. And why are freaks getting elected? Well, they're not. They're being selected. All right, I got nothing else for you. Yeah, here we go. Father God, thank you. Oh, man, I was just a little hot. it's tough not to get upset, Lord, because every time we turn around, there's just more and more and more and more to get upset about. But at the end of the day, we know that, but God, but the things that you'll be able to turn, and as long as we do what we're supposed to do on our side, that we'll be okay. And if we're not, well, it wasn't meant to be okay, I guess. Father, we are grateful for the blessings we have in our lives too. We don't want to walk past those. And we're grateful for the people that are in our lives, and we're grateful for those that do stand up. But we have a challenge in front of us. We have a lot of really bad people on both sides of the aisle. We have a lot of bad people in government. We have a lot of evil and diabolical people who would enslave and treat the American people like they're their property. And we know, Father, this is not just a U.S. problem, but this is a global problem. And we know that the head of the snake, the head of this evil, is alive and well in the American forum. Father, we just ask that you give us the ability to stand in the gap and do the right thing, and that you would be on the conscience and mind of every man in this country who's truly a man, to stand up and do the right thing to protect the future generations. We ask you, Father, to put a shroud of protection over President Trump. President Trump is doing everything he can, but man, he's challenged by really challenging people that are just selfish and self-centered, and frankly, they're just old and just not very bright. You can see right through it. So, Father, I just ask you to give President Trump the ability to fight through this evil on both sides, especially the side that keeps telling them, oh, we're here to help. Father, I just ask you also let the people go, that you help break us from this bondage that we're under right now and put us in a place where we can wreck it, Ralph. Change the narrative, change the outcome, and allow the people in our nation and around the world to thrive. I ask these things, Father, humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. It's so great to see just all the fun people out there. Look at the comments real quick. Let me see if I can pop in there. The Haitians haven't contributed anything, and I've only taken. I agree with that. Grateful for you, Joe. Thank you, CSA Liz. Appreciate that. Let me see what else we got. Gammy. Ukraine is a nightmare, my friend. As people in Poland, they denied immigrants and EU stuff money that are better than most in Europe. They truly are. We see lots of posts from citizens from those nations being horrified. Yeah. We helped put 46 bio and genetic labs in Ukraine, so Russia fought back. They did. They fought back because it was a threat to their nation and to the people in the country. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. You know what to do. I'm going to get going. Been with you for a few hours today. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter if we don't actually stand up and do something. So I'm just going to tell you, all the people that tell you to stand up and do something, got to find our tribe. Find our tribe, find other tribes. And that's not a Democrat tribe or a Republican tribe. They'll stab you in the back just as soon look at you. These are just people in your community. We find a way to stand up. We did it during COVID. We had Republicans, Democrats, Independents all standing on the same side because we knew it was bullshit. Let's keep doing more of that. All right. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown, tame nation. It's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave